In life, many things are worth being patient for. The slow turn of the seasons brings with them unique challenges, and life goals you thought would define your entire being begin to change into something entirely quite different. Reflecting on the past to see how one has changed is what diaries are for, or journals. And Tensura Nikki, Tensei shitara slime Datta is the epitome of this. The anime shows, in slices of time passing between the episodes of the main show, what changes Rimuru has gone through, and how they have been reflected in both his own life as well as the countless lives he has touched and changed in turn. And it's also fun to watch the antics unfold, don't get me wrong. Keep in mind though, if you'd prefer not to get spoiled on minor plot details of the main anime, you might want to stop watching now. Still giving you a chance. Alright. If you've been watching anime these past few years, I'm sure you've noticed the trend of isekai anime storming forth as I mentioned they would in the Isekai Storm video I made a few years prior. None of them have ever reached the consistent heights of Tensei Slime though, in my humble opinion. And before you get yourself up in arms, I would say that Slime Time is the best overall champion of the isekai game, so to speak. There's plenty out there that exceed in their own rights, and your favorite isekai no doubt shines just as brightly as Slime does in its own way. But for me, Slime hits just the right spot in just about everything. Except for the main series animation sometimes, but we're not talking about that one, we're talking about the spin-off. Luckily, Slime Diaries doesn't have a problem with animation, as it is very soft, smooth, and perfect for a comfy watch right before bed or just to laze away the summer days, or spring, fall, or winter. In fact, as a diary of times past, this show manages to showcase in vivid color and splendiferous framing the aspects of life that each season brings with it, and it all starts with the perfectly round, safe, and cute design of the main character. Rimuru is a slime, as you've no doubt correctly surmised, and contrary to what's typically thought of such entities, he's extremely powerful, and only grows more so throughout his main series. However, in this companion anime, his power is more used for gags and to enhance the scene's moment-to-moment composition. Since this is a slower, softer anime, he does things like roll around and flop into places with his characteristic aplomb. His voice, already cute, contributes much to the same atmosphere, at sometimes soft and wistful as befits a look back on the past, and others panicked and lively as the situation demands. Of course, he's not the only one to get a more peeled look, to use a phrase from a Twitter account I'm rather fond of, as almost all of the cast gets a change in design to suit the occasion. Gone are the harsh angles and rough exteriors. Instead, they're all sanded down to more circular and cute demeanors. Some would say their personalities are just as sanded down to the barest parts of themselves, but I would say they're simply given more time to shine on their own, and the downtime provided instead of the constant conflict and battle of the main show. All of this works to the show's advantage, though, as I can't help but feel like grabbing Ben and Mara's cute cheek with every puppy dog-looking gives throughout the show. This little cutie here is so cute. Anyway, the girls of the show are also adorable, as you can see, but they always were, so we're instead just giving more time to enjoy their presence, their hefty, bountiful presences. Oh, sorry, where was I? Oh yes, idyllic life. Part of what makes this show and the work it's based on special is the sense of progress and community. This is no less of a strength here either, because we actually get to see this town built up in various scenes, from that small goblin village in the main series to the metropolis it eventually becomes as time moves on. Life on the frontier is difficult unless you work together, and that spirit of cooperation is embodied in the diverse and distinct cast of characters in this series doing what they can to aid others. My favorite of the troupe of Rimuru's following monsters is the Orc Lord Geld. Geld is large, Geld is round, and Geld is pure. The purest soul in Tempest, I'd say. The very definition of the soft-hearted brute, Geld does what he can to enjoy the simple aspects of life. Working, living, and nurturing. Not just people, but plants too. What a softie. He is the literal result of Rimuru's teachings, and it's fitting that he is who more than one person chooses to lean on, to understand what Tempest's true aim is about. Building up those around you, both literally and figuratively. Plus, his little sidekick Goblin Kid is the most adorable baby ever. I never get tired of seeing her being cute, and neither will you, I hope. And just look at that face. How could you ever disappoint her? There are a wide variety of characters to get along with as you watch the show, and the cast only grows without ever growing too overbearing, which is a huge strength of the series since there's so many characters. Whereas some get reduced to background roles in the main show after being introduced, this show takes the time to give them more personality and things to do, such as the famously screen time starved Kurobe, the smith of the Oni tribe. Or Trainee, the dryad Rimuru meets in his travels through the great Jura forest his city lies within. Having a nice rest stop with Trainee is such a relaxing experience to witness, from the chilled out tune of the background track to the clinking of glasses and crisp crackles of potato chips being eaten. It feels like a place that's always belonged here, even though we haven't seen much of it, or I don't recall any of it in the main series. Somewhere our characters can just be at peace and take times to themselves, comfy and not too crowded. Then there's Kurobe's Smith, giving aspects and time to the blazing hot forges of where Tempest weaponry and experimental materials are created to support the endeavors of our cast through the various reasons for parties the series prides itself on showing. You even get to see some of the dwarves' interest in textile arts, much to Rimuru's chagrin. Of course, while there are conflicts, and there are many as would befit, a whole bunch of cultures clashing together, they're never the focus of this or the main series. Well, at least not for a little bit. They're often played for laughs, and this companion anime definitely turns up the volume on the wacky and amusing. From ripping Rimuru apart or Gabata becoming a living hoe, there are so many moments I've just lost myself to laughing, enjoying the moments and letting the slow life wash over me. All of these different characters contribute in their own special ways, forming bonds and mixing together different cultural life experiences to form holidays almost unique to the setting, even if they do continue familiar trappings from our world. It's just a beautiful thing to watch, and each captures a distinct sense of the season the party is steeped in. In many ways, this show is a fusion of a lot of things. It's a spin-off, of course, so it's already something similar, but different from the main series. But it's also a good bridge from the isekai storm to the cloud of comfy, slow-life anime that will be moseying their way into the spotlight very soon, if they haven't already taken shape. Yuru Camp is, of course, a good example of it already happening, but I suspect this will become even more popular as the atmosphere of isekai shifts away from the dark and dreary to the slow life and happiness, especially after the pandemic of real life gives way to wishing for a better, more relaxing tomorrow. Or at least we can only hope for that. Regardless, this show is cute. It never ceases to make me feel good. The characters are all so easily identified so that even the inexperienced viewer would find them easy to distinguish. The series plays to the strength of the main show, and I am so very happy it exists. It doesn't just stand on its own, which it does, but it also increases the enjoyment I have of the main series, because I get more time with the characters I love so much. I just can't wait until the second spin-off is made into an anime, because Strolling Through the Demon Country is such a good comedy manga featuring the city that I never get tired of it. But that's hopefully for the future. Speaking of, though, the city itself is a character that you can grow with throughout the Tensei Slime series. You can feel that sense of belonging and hopeful striving toward a better future, better than the past it was founded upon. But nothing is ever forgotten. Least of all the good things. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from both this video and the series itself, it's that we are all a result of the changes we've made ourselves, and as a result of each other. So, if you want that brighter future, that striking, wonderful, slow life, build yourself up, build others up, and you'll make your world and everyone around yours just a little bit more slimy. And speaking of building others up, you may have noticed it's been a while since I've made a video. Congratulations on making it this far if you did, and if you liked it, why not hit that like button? We've got some subscribe buttons over there and some bells over here to make sure you don't miss the next one whenever it comes. And be sure to mention me to your friends, because I love creating things like this, and I hope you'll all grant me that opportunity again. If you want something specific, make your voice heard in the comments, and support me on Patreon at patreon.com/crosswind, so I actually have the money to spend more time on these videos. You can also catch more videos by me on the channel, so why not go take a look if you like this one. And remember, boys, girls, and everyone in between and all around, enjoy the way you watch anime, because as long as you're having fun, that's all that really matters. Happy Pride Month, and I'll see you next time.